Mortality rate, or death rate. 189. 69 is a measure of the number of deaths. 189. An important specific mortality rate measure is the crude death rate, which looks at mortality from all causes in a given time interval for a given population. As of 2020, for instance, the KIA estimates that the crude death rate globally will be 7.7 deaths per 1,000 persons in a population per year. In a generic form, 189 mortality rates can be seen as calculated using dp(10n) (CDOT10(n), where d represents the deaths from whatever cause of interest is specified that occur within a given time period. P represents the size of the population in which the deaths occur, and 10n (10(n) is the conversion factor from the resulting fraction to another unit, e.g., multiplying by 10(3) (10(3) to get mortality rate per 1,000 individuals. 189. The crude death rate is defined as the mortality rate from all causes of death for a population, calculated as the total number of deaths during a given time interval, divided by the id interval population, per 1,000 or 100,000. For instance, the population of the US was around 290,810,000 in 2003. And in that year, approximately 2,419,900 deaths occurred in total, giving a crude death rate of 832 deaths per 100,000. 3 to 20 As of 2020, the KIA estimates the US crude death rate will be 8.3 per 1,000, while it estimates that the global rate will be 7.7 per 1,000. According to the World Health Organization, the 10 leading causes of death, globally, in 2016, for both sexes and all ages, were as presented in the table below. Crude death rate, per 100,000. Population mortality rate is also measured per 1,000. It is determined by how many people of a certain age die per 1,000 people. Decrease of mortality rate is one of the reasons for increase of population. Development of medical science and other technologies has resulted in the decrease of mortality rate in all the countries of the world for some decades. In 1990, the mortality rate of children under 5 years of age was 144 per 1,000. But in 2015 the child mortality rate was 38 per 1,000. Other specific measures of mortality include, for any of these, a sex-specific mortality rate refers to a mortality rate among either males or females, where the calculation involves both numerator and denominator, limited to the one sex. 3 to 23. In most cases there are few if any ways to obtain exact mortality rates. So epidemiologists use estimation to predict correct mortality rates. Mortality rates are usually difficult to predict due to language barriers, health infrastructure-related issues, conflict, and other reasons. Maternal mortality has additional challenges, especially as they pertain to stillbirths, abortions, and multiple births. In some countries, during the 1920s, a stillbirth was defined as a birth of at least 20 weeks gestation in which the child shows no evidence of life after complete birth. In most countries, however, a stillbirth was defined as the birth of a fetus after 28 weeks of pregnancy, in which pulmonary respiration does not occur. Ideally, all mortality estimation would be done using vital statistics and census data. Census data will give detailed information about the population at risk of death. The vital statistics provide information about live births and deaths in the population. Often, either census data and vital statistics data is not available. This is common in developing countries, countries that are in conflict, areas where natural disasters have caused mass displacement, and other areas where there is a humanitarian crisis. Household surveys or interviews are another way in which mortality rates are often assessed. There are several methods to estimate mortality in different segments of the population. One such example is the Sisterhood Method, which involves researchers estimating maternal mortality by contacting women in populations of interest and asking whether or not they have a sister. If the sister is of childbearing age and conducting an interview or written questions about possible deaths among sisters. The Sisterhood Method, however, does not work in cases where sisters may have died before the sister being interviewed was born. Orphanhood surveys estimate mortality by questioning children are asked about the mortality of their parents. It has often been criticized as an adult mortality rate that is very biased for several reasons. The adoption effect is one such instance in which orphans often do not realize that they are adopted. Additionally, interviewers may not realize that an adoptive or foster parent is not the child's biological parent. There is also the issue of parents being reported on by multiple children while some adults have no children, thus are not counted in mortality estimates. Widowhood surveys estimate adult mortality by responding to questions about the deceased husband or wife. One limitation of the